world's oceans are incredibly important to life here on Earth. Without them, life on this planet wouldn't be possible. 72% of the Earth's surface is covered by the world's saltwater seas and oceans. Over half the oxygen that is in the Earth's atmosphere is produced by plants and microorganisms that live in the oceans. 97% of the water available to us on Earth is contained in the oceans. If these reasons alone weren't enough to convince you that the oceans are vital to sustain life, then the almost 9 million species that call them their homes should be. Now that we realize how important the oceans are to us, it's time to hear some hard facts about how they are in danger. The oceans today are under threat from many different directions. Climate change is causing glaciers to melt, which changes water temperature and water levels. Invasive species, artificially introduced by humans, are causing unique and indigenous species to become endangered and even to become extirpated or extinct. Overfishing is damaging fish populations in places like the northern Atlantic and is also causing fish species to be threatened. Habitat destruction is endangering both plant and fish species, as well as causing harmful fish migrations and the destruction of coral reefs. Pollution is possibly the most harmful of these threats because of how widespread it is. Pollution is the biggest issue that currently threatens our oceans. The problem with the ocean being so massive is that it can be almost impossible to stop all sources of pollution. According to National Geographic, as much as 88% of ocean water on this planet is polluted with garbage. There are two broad categories of pollution. Point source pollution includes single pollution sources, such as oil spills or sewage plants. Non-point source pollutions includes things such as agricultural fertilizer runoff or marine debris, which includes things like trash and plastics being put into our oceans. I've seen firsthand how ocean pollution is damaging fish life in the ocean while deep sea fishing in the Gulf of Mexico. I saw an 8-foot-long blue marlin entangled in a net caught around an offshore buoy. It was gasping for breath because it was unable to dive below the surface in order to breathe. I then spent over 3 hours alongside my father and other fishermen trying to cut the marlin free of the net, all while the fish was trying to free itself. This experience really put into perspective how many humans as a whole are damaging the ocean and sea life. It also made me curious as to what humanity can do to help prevent and repair the damage that we've done so far. According to the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, almost 1.4 billion pounds of trash are put into the ocean every year. Chemical pollution is almost as big a problem as physical garbage pollution. Certain chemicals are usually not harmful to sea life when introduced in small amounts, such as nitrogen and phosphorus, which are used in plant fertilizers and agricultural uses. But they can cause horrible damage when introduced in large quantities. When fertilizers are introduced to oceanic ecosystems, generally in the form of runoff, it produces massive algae blooms. Once the algae that bloomed dies and begins to decompose, the decomposition process begins to use all the oxygen in the water. This lack of oxygen in the water causes almost all fish and plant life to die off, which creates these dead or hypoxic zones where there's almost no living organisms present. It won't take a huge effort on most people's part to begin to ensure that the ocean will continue to survive. If every person could do a few small things, the large-scale benefits would be enormous. There are some very simple and easy things that you can do. These include things such as recycling as much household garbage as possible, mainly plastics such as jugs and plastic bags. Also, when you go to the beach or any body of water, be sure to take all your trash with you. Using non-toxic, eco-friendly cleaning supplies will help reduce chemical pollution, as well as buying fruits and vegetables that were grown and produced without the use of harmful pesticides and herbicides. Without the ocean, life on Earth wouldn't be possible. The ocean provides so much for the people living on this planet, including food and the very air we need to breathe to survive. However, if we continue on the path of pollution and mismanagement that we have been on, the ocean won't be around very long for us. The fish and animals living in the ocean will begin to die off, as well as the plants and microorganisms that produce the oxygen in the atmosphere. This will eventually lead to the extinction of the human race as a whole. All it would take is for people around the world to decide to make a difference and create a change in the ocean's ecosystems.
Sounds good.